Hi, Mr. Shen. Today I'll be presenting my personal finance presentation. So for the first slide is savings and checkings. So for Rule of 72. Rule of 72 is an equation to estimate how long it will take to double an investment with a fixed interest rate. So FDIC is an independent agency created by the federal government to protect bank customers by insuring their deposits. APY is the next one. It's the yearly earnings from an account, including compound interest. Now, SMART goals are goals that person wants to achieve, and the acronym is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time related, and high yield savings is an account that pays higher interest rate than passbook and statements savings account. The next slide is retirement and planning. So the first thing for retirement is to save money, because if you save money early on, you'll have more money when you retire. The second is pay yourself first, where instead of paying other people, you save money, which is similar to paying yourself in the future. Social Security, it's important because if you pay Social Security, then when you're old, the government will take care of you. The 401k plan, it's an employer sponsored retirement plan that allows an individual to deposit part of his or her earnings into a tax deferred account. And this is different from an individual retirement account. And a defined contribution plan is basically a retirement plan that makes regular payments to a retiree until his or her death. The next is credit. Now, credit, there are many disadvantages of using credit, and they include expense or overspending, because when you use credit, you are just constantly swiping using your credit card. Next is consumer credit. So, consumer credit is credit granted to individual consumers based on a rental business. A collateral is a property a borrower promises to give up in the event he or she cannot pay the loan. Next is credit history. Now, credit history is a way bank people use to determine an individual's credit and financial behavior over a period of years. And there are many credit frauds, so stay away from MLM and Ponzi. Next is consumer protection. Now, for consumer protection, they have consumer protection laws. And so, consumer protection laws are laws that govern sales and credit practices involving consumer goods and services. Now, consumer fraud is an important thing when knowing about your protection, and consumer fraud is the misrepresentation of information to consumers. Now, there are two types of schemes: the pyramid scheme and the Ponzi scheme. The pyramid scheme is a fraudulent investment plan, while the Ponzi scheme is an investment operation in which money from new investors is used to pay earlier investors. Now, there's also the class action lawsuit. And so the class action lawsuit is a legal court action brought by a group of individuals who have been wronged. And the bait and switch is a way that the people who commit frauds are selling one item, but then they switch for another item that is different from what they were first advertising. So here are rental rights. So for budget, it's basically saying how property owners have to be careful of their own budgets. Lease is the person who rents the property, and you also have to make sure that you pay your rent monthly in order to ensure that you are able to stay when you're renting a house. And you when renting a house, you also have to be concern about property tax, because when you buy a house, you also have to pay for property tax monthly, and you also have to make sure that if you don't pay certain things, that you might get evicted, so you also have to be careful about eviction when buying a house. Next is cars. So for cars, um, so the certified used car is a previously owned vehicle that has received a thorough mechanical and appearance inspection along with necessary repairs and replacements. So used cars, tend to cost cheap because they are already used, and cars always have a mileage to show how old it is or how much it has been driven. The VIN is used to show the car number because every car has a certain number that is used to label each car. And for depreciation, the more that a person uses a car, the older it gets. So depreciation is basically becoming worse in value because a car is getting older. For insurance, the definition of an insurance is a financial service that is used to protect against laws. And so there are many different types of insurance, including healthcare insurance or property insurance. Um, Now, because there are many types of risks, so you need insurance to protect against these different types of risks. And so, risk is the possibility of loss, damage, or injury. Property insurance, as I mentioned before, is one type of insurance. So, to be more specific, property insurance ensures that policyholders protects against financial loss from damage or loss of a dwelling of personal property. Next is premium, and premium is the amount the insured pays for insurance coverage, and claim is the process of documenting a loss against an insurance policy. And that's my um, finance presentation. Thank you.